Thank you for joining us for another daily dose of USPC, where today we will be talking about Aldous Huxley's novel, Brave New World, and its importance and relevance in the world today. We have heard lots of brief opinions describing this hit novel, but today we'll be diving into a whole nother world, the Brave New World. Taking place in the year 2540 or 632 AF, which stands for After Ford, Brave New World introduces a new way to look at society, where humans are not made the usual way, but in science labs. Humans made in these labs are assigned to castes in society where they fit into roles. Before we get started, here's a word from our sponsor.
It's Ford Truck Month, and there has never been a better time to purchase any of our award-winning trucks. The assembly line comes this year's round of excellent trucks constructed in just 30 minutes, but able to last upwards of 10 years. 10 years! So hurry on down to your friendly neighborhood Ford dealership to check out this month's sweet deals.
Howdy everybody, and welcome back to United States Podcast Community. I'm Nick Becker-Brown coming at you with yet another rendition of What If, the radio show where we take the tools of today and wonder what they may have become given the time and opportunity. Today I'm going to take a look at the European Union and United Nations and analyze their effect on globalization and potential creation of a world state. First up is the European Union, which is the economic and political partnership of 28 different countries in Europe. One main thing that the EU accomplished was the establishment of a centralized currency. This action is a massive step in the direction of globalization and the eventual creation of a world state. Their euro can be used in 19 of the member states of the EU as legal tender and destroys the need for currency conversion. The EU also has a set of standardized laws which are in effect in the membership countries. This makes it very simple for a political partnership to become more of a political ownership. The UN, on the other hand, is more like a world governing body. They make decisions on ethical problems and where to send humanitarian aid. The UN also helps resolve disputes between countries and holds international court sessions. This promotes globalism because it combines 193 countries' governments into one central power. This makes decisions as a group. But what would happen if such powers grew too big and tyrannical? Many people have preached the terrors of globalism and how it could lead to the utter authoritarian form of government. A controlling government which dictates your every move and restricts free will. One bold prediction for what would happen if an EU-type political and economic body joined forces with a judicial and governing body like the UN was made in the book A Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. He constructed a harrowing tale of when government goes too far, and what it would mean for humanity and the restriction which would be put on us and how we live our lives. Huxley goes so far as to suggest that the government would control how smart you would be and what role in society you would play before you were even born. People would all act like robots, living their lives exactly how the government intended, and these citizens would not even care because they would not know any better. And on that cheery note, thanks for joining us today on this analysis of the potential consequences of when Big Brother gets a little too large. Stay tuned to hear Katie Tollison's explanation about how Ford changed society.
Harrison Ford thrived in the early 1900s with the invention of the T-model car. I would say it drove society crazy. This sparked the industrial and technological movement that impacted our lives forever. The Ford Model T was the first automobile that the general public could afford. It made transportation and travel a breeze. Model T was introduced and then modernized society. It was made on an assembly line of production, which was new to this era, and sold over 15 million in the first 20 years. After the Ford Model T was established, more and more technologies were introduced. Automobiles got faster, stronger, and more affordable. Since the new technology is being made on such a massive scale, everyone's able to get their hands on it. America always pushes for more. The impact of America's modernization has led us to communicate easier and expand our learning. We are now able to travel in space, talk to people across the country, and even order food through our phones. Hold still, and let's listen to Brett's input on the book's standpoint on birth.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Katie. I have a couple statements that I'd like to broaden our listeners' perspective on. The complexity of birth is so underrated, yet this book, A Brave New World, completely defies the laws of human reproduction. We as people must always acquire natural birth, yet these are unwelcome opinions, stretching in the way of our outer being. We are a complex people who are knitted professionally within our mother's womb. No other man-made creation could perform such a complicated task. However, our understanding barely surpasses the early stages of lamb within the man-made womb. In our world we live in, science is trying to birth a lamb in a man-made womb. Our knowledge is growing, yet our wisdom fades. These people are birthing replicas, twins of twins within this book. What makes our world special is that no one is the same. We are all different. But this book wants to impose that people must be the same and controlled in order to have order. Peace? Well, maybe for that society, but not within ourselves. Who has time for any of that? Who wants to live like that? This book is known for its direction of human mass destruction. You must be able to comprehend the way that this world thinks. I don't think that this world is headed in this direction at all. Yet this disturbing, complex behavior provokes our mind into thinking that we are doomed. You transform as you grow. We are past technology. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. We have no need for further altercations, no adaptations, and no replacement. I do believe so myself that it is up to us to remind our culture that there is no need for replacement humans or unnatural additions. We advance with gesture and partake in romance. We collide our minds and have seen none but one biological being that surpasses our knowledge. This book is the potential future of our Earth. Yet we don't need to advance in that direction. There is still time to change our mindset. The world will know of what is happening here. There is no need to fear, have hope, for we are greater than our weakest point. Thank you for your time, Katie. Next up, we have Manhung speaking on civilization.
In Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, social norms and society in general have changed drastically from what we have today. The value of the individual has degraded, and the social structure is strictly enforced within the world state. Each person is genetically engineered for a predetermined role, and one's purpose is heavily influenced by the caste that they're placed in. In addition, values that are considered important in our contemporary society, such as family roles and individuality, are looked down upon. The invention of the Model T seems to be the turning point that leads to the genetically engineered world state. Almost every individual uses soma, an addictive drug that provides temporary happiness while distracting them from the lack of true purpose in their lives. The divide between people of different castes is ingrained into society, as one's caste determines who they interact with and how they're viewed by others. One of the main characters, Bernard, is an alpha, a member of the highest caste, but he is significantly shorter than the other alphas, which is a trait mostly associated with lower castes. He also questions his role in society and the way that the world state operates, which is highly unusual and discouraged. Because of this, people look down on him and spread rumors behind his back, showing how a failure to fit into one's expected role causes one to be shunned by others. The conflicting ideologies and ways of life between the savage reservation and the world state provide insight into how both societies developed and deviated from each other since the invention of the Model T. The world state has eliminated the value of family and the role that serves in society. The idea of a mother and father have become alien within the world state to the point of being taboo. On the other hand, traditional family roles are still valued in the savage reservation. This shows how, in some ways, the savage reservation still resembles our contemporary society. However, it does also place an emphasis on violent rituals that are not present in our contemporary society. The lack of structure within the savage reservation in comparison to the world state fosters mutual curiosity between them, but their conflicting ideologies make it impossible for people from one to peacefully coexist inside the other. At the end of the book, the main character John hangs himself after realizing that he has succumbed to the societal pressures of the world state. Despite the increased efficiency and order that provides, the values that the world state fosters in society, from a lack of free thought to the elimination of meaningful relationships, show that in many ways civilization has actually regressed from our current one despite technological advances.
Thank you to all the newcomers and faithful listeners for tuning into this broadcast of United States Podcast Community. I hope each and every one of you have learned a little something about how books can connect to your situation or any situation, from the evil advancement of globalism to the advancement of society and turning points in history. We have connected Brave New World to each of these things today, but it doesn't end there. Connections to daily life as well as big picture society can be made with each and every book. Think broader, debate longer, and get a little smarter each and every time you pick up a book. A huge thanks to our writers Nick Becker-Brown, Jake Bortles, Katie Tollefson, Manhong Gan, and Brett Walker. Thanks to our editor, Brett Walker, as well as our script super advisor, Jake Bortles. Thank you all, and see you next week on USPC.